Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out on this magnificent day, in this magnificent location here along the Derby Greenway and Sonia River Walk. We're joined here today by a very distinguished guest, Congresswoman DeLauro, Senator Blumenthal, Mayor Cassetti from the great city of Sonia, and Mayor Naugatuck here in the great city of Derby. And curiously, we're located here on Division Street, but I propose that we rename this street as Unity Street.
Oh, good idea.
Because in many ways today the announcement that our esteemed guest will make will further unify this wonderful valley of ours. These two communities and all of the communities that share access to this marvelous river, which in itself is really a national success story. To Congresswoman DeLauro and to Senator Blumenthal, we have a great community of interest here that's gathered here today. We have our local leaders, we have our development officials from many of our communities, from Shelton up through Oxford and everything in between. We have some of our historic sites. The Sonia Nature Center is here, the Kellogg Environmental Center is represented. We have some of our hoteliers here who recognize the economic impact of the announcement that you're about to make. These two people, let me just say in introducing Congresswoman DeLauro and Senator Blumenthal, I marvel, as we all do, at their boundless energy. I asked the Senator, I said, did you get your run in already today? He said, yes. I said, not surprising. And this lady here is perpetual motion as well. And I want to say, you know, as I look back over this past year, whether it's being on the scene the day after the tragic fire in Shelton, to offer the support of the federal government, the U.S. Small Business Administration, or it's joining with their colleagues in supporting improvements along the Metro-North Waterbury branch line, to now advocating for special national designation for this very special place that we call the Valley. So without stealing their thunder, let me introduce and please a warm Valley welcome to Congresswoman DeLauro, followed by Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you. It is a beautiful day, and it's so fitting to be here today with all of you. The Senator and I just came from the Union Station in New Haven, where there was the announcement of the increased trains along the corridor, and as well as the improvement of the Waterbury line. So it's really very, very special.
Round of applause for that.
Yes, yes.
So thank you so much, Bill, and thank you for your advocacy on this. To the Senator, Jack Walsh, to the members of the Greenway Committee, Healthy Valley Committee, all the mayors, elected officials who are here, Mayor Naugatuck, Mayor Cassetti, it's so great to see and be with all of you. And the advocates, for gosh sakes. What we're here about today is to say thank you to you for coming out and helping us to craft and to introduce the Naugatuck River Valley Heritage Area Study legislation. So, special thanks to Bill, to the Valley Chamber, who along with the Healthy Valley Committee have been instrumental in the effort from the start. You helped to make today happen. And that's what it is. It's the advocacy. It's being there. It's the external pressure on the effort that makes these things happen. What the legislation will do, it directs the Interior Secretary to carry out a study regarding the suitability of establishing a national heritage area here in the 14 towns of the Naugatuck River Valley. Proud to have to introduce this and to reintroduce it again. National Heritage Areas, it's a program of the National Park Service. It's a grassroots, community-driven approach to preservation and to economic development, driven by public-private partnerships. The Park Service provides technical planning assistance to the heritage areas to support historic preservation, the conservation of natural resources, tourism, educational projects, and recreation. But the decisions remain local, what happens. Our state has already two such heritage areas, the Upper Housatonic River area and the Quinnebog-Shetucket area. I think with its long, storied history, breathtaking natural beauty, that the Naugatuck River Valley extending up and down the river from Torrington to Ansonia should be the third. The Senator agrees with that effort as well, and we're going to fight for it. The 14 towns in the valley date back to the American Revolution and beyond to the earliest days of our colonies. For more than 2 centuries, the valley was nothing less than a manufacturing powerhouse. It's companies that made quality products that made this region the envy of the world. This was the center of brass production in the United States. By the end of the 19th century, this region produced 85% of the rolled brass in the country. Waterbury became known as the Brass City. Naugatuck, meanwhile, was the rubber capital of the world, and there Samuel Lewis, Charles Goodyear, the inventor of vulcanized rubber, established the famous U.S. Rubber Company. Terryville, Thomaston, the business was clocks. Like Eli Whitney, Eli Terry designed interchangeable parts for his timepieces. His company thrived in this region for over a century. All of the manufacturing towns in the valley helped to give Connecticut its nickname as the Arsenal of the Republic. Businesses that supported working families, that provided jobs to working families, and to help to grow the middle class in America. All of these manufacturing towns. In the 2007 documentary on World War II, The War, by Ken Burns, Ken focused on Waterbury as the preeminent example of the mighty production effort that delivered the victory. And this is more than industries. The valley has given us authors, diplomats, inventors, like David Humphreys, George Washington's aide-de-camp, America's first ambassador, Isaac Hull, the commander of Old Ironside, John Howe, inventor of the pen. The valley is home to America's first law school in Litchfield. The gorgeous Sterling Opera House in Derby, where luminaries like Harry Houdini and Amelia Earhart performed, and where D.W. Griffith premiered Birth of a Nation. The clock tower in Waterbury, designed by the renowned firm of McKim, Mead & White. And of course, there is the beautiful landscape. The hills, the river, the trees, now connected as never before, thanks to the Greenway. The Greenway is helping combat sprawl, tie the valley together, and make our riverfront more healthy, livable, and beautiful. It includes picnic areas, boat launches, public art, all of which provide families more opportunities to enjoy the great outdoors. In sum, the valley is such a historic part of our state and our country, and we believe that it should be recognized as such. Making the valley a National Heritage Area will boost tourism and economic development while helping to conserve what is unique here, the beauty and community that has dwelled along the river since before America began. Let's make it happen. So proud to join you today to make this announcement. Thank you for all of your work. Without your
Thank you, Bill. Thanks to the Chamber. Thanks to all of you. You know, you might think after that wonderfully complete and eloquent set of remarks by Rosa DeLauro, there's not much left to say. In Washington, D.C., we have a very old saying. Everything has been said, but not everyone has said it. So, there's always more to say. Actually, I want to express my appreciation to Rosa DeLauro, who is such a leader in the Valley and throughout the state of Connecticut and nationally. And to the two mayors who are here, they very much reflect, by being here, this picture is worth 1,000 words, the kind of unity that, in fact, this proposal will bring to the Valley. Because it's not just Ansonia and Derby, it's 12 other towns. And if you look at the map, which was prepared very helpfully by Healthy Valley, what you see is those towns brought together. Now, we know the Valley is a community. It's united by history, by values, and by people. The values are a indisputably hard work ethic. It's always united people. The manufacturing that grew up here and prospered here were the result of people who worked hard, harder than anyone else around, and they brought prosperity for a time. And then history meant that the economy changed, and new kinds of economic services and manufacturing came to the valley. But this heritage area will commemorate and conserve and contribute to. Those are the three words. Commemorate, conserve, and contribute to the rich fabric that remains of all of that history. It's a fabric of people and of economic activity. And this heritage area also means jobs, tourism, recreation, more services provided to enable more people to come here. This designation is rare and profoundly important. And this legislation is a tremendous step in the right direction. I want to recognize especially the advocates who are here today, from all of the environmental groups, from the businesses, from the community organizations. You are the ones who will make this heritage area successful. It's the way it always is with causes, the best causes, that a small group of people can make things happen. That's what Margaret Mead said when she famously said, never doubt that a small group of committed, intelligent people could change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. So you're going to change this part of the world. That's what this heritage area designation will do. It brings dollars and economic activity and jobs, but it also reflects those basic values: hard work, faith in each other, cooperation, and combination that make the whole greater than the sum of its parts. The valley is more than the sum of those 14 towns. It is something priceless and irreplaceable. And that's what this heritage area designation will recognize. The valley is a special place with a remarkable history and a profoundly exciting and inspiring future. As always, we look to the past, but we look even more to the future, what it will mean in the benefits of people who live here and now, and who deserve the kinds of benefits that this heritage area will bring. So I'm very happy and proud to be here today. I want to join in thanking the mayors again, and say to you that introducing this bill is a great moment for the Valley, but also for our whole state, because all of our state shares in the prosperity of the Valley that's well. So I don't know which of you would like to go first.
I am so proud to be here at this time. You know, Derby and the Valley, it's always what we don't have. This is going to showcase what we have, and this is going to help us push that along. Undying thanks to all the people that put all the work into Healthy Valley, all the hours, countless hours. Thank you so much. And thank you that it was heard all the way up. So thank you so much.
This is a great day to celebrate in the Valley. Thank you to Bill Parcells for pushing this legislation. Thank you for Senator Blumenthal and Congressman DeLauro for coming out today and hopefully get this through Congress. Thank you.
You know, I think some of the words of wisdom today is that nothing worthwhile comes easy, and that we need to have patience and perseverance if we want to advance our community into the 21st century. I want to recognize a dear friend of mine, my partner, Jack Walsh, who's the president of the Valley United Way. Jack was also instrumental in the development of the Derby Greenway in his capacity, official capacity with the city of Derby. But you know, when we joined with Congresswoman DeLauro and Senator Blumenthal and their team in crafting this legislation, originally there were 10 points, sort of taking a page out of David Letterman's top 10 reasons. And we added an 11th reason, and that is that just 2 short years ago, this Naugatuck River Greenway was designated by the President and the Secretary of the Interior as one of 101 projects nationwide under what's called the America's Great Outdoors Initiative. This is a big deal. It's a wonderful achievement. And we're so happy to have Jack Walsh now joining with Chuck and a third tri-chair. This is a democracy. There are 3 chairs of the Naugatuck Greenway Steering Committee. I wanted Jack to come forward and to recognize Pat Tarasovic and Judy Augusta as well from Healthy Valley. Jack, would you come forward?
Thank you, Bill. You know, this is a fantastic moment because if you look behind me, there's a river there that for over 50 years disappeared. But you know, if you want the history of America, and I mean the history of America, it's written all up and down that river. The good, the bad, the ugly. And right now we're in the midst of a renaissance. Our river is back, and you know, all the uses it had before for transportation, for industry, for world trade. We're all the beneficiaries of what it's going to be now, and that's recreation. It's unbelievable what's happening here. 50 years ago, if you were here, this would have been underwater and totally fluid. Now it's beautiful, it's coming back, and I think this is just the next step in recognizing what all the people of the valley, and when I say the valley, I mean all the way up to Torrington, have done to reclaim this river. So I'm thrilled, and it's all individuals, grassroots, that made it happen. You know, when we started the Healthy Valley Project, I think it was Bill Quantick from Griffin Hospital talked about, well, you know, we're an all-American community. We should go after that award. And I heard a lot of people say, all American, the Valley, all American. Well, you know what? We are all American, okay? And this is just another step in this. This is one of the greatest places in the United States. Even if we didn't have this for anything else, tell the story of this cleanup, this river. This has got to be as good an environmental cleanup story as there is in this entire country. And we need to shout that out and let people know. We did that here. With the help of the state authority. But it's major. So I want to thank you for pushing this forward. I think it's just another great step for the Valley and for the state of Connecticut. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Let me, before we open up to some questions, I just want to give a shout out to our good friends from the SEDS, the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. You should know the Congresswoman and Senator that we've had great support and leadership from Jim Ryan and Sheila O'Malley. I see Peter Burns is here. Sam Gold is here now as we're merging our cogs and fortifying our valley as we come to the close of this year. And we thank you for your continued support. And I also just want to thank your wonderful staff. I know Matt LeBeau is here today, Allison Dodge is here, Lou Mangini, who's been such a good friend to our valley, and Kelly Horton down in Washington, who's helped you to advance this legislation. So with that, would you take a question if there was 1 or 2 from the press here or any of the community leaders? We urge you to pick up these brochures and to sign on. Pat, Judy, and Marion O'Keefe. Where's Marion, our resident historian? And Marion has, I want you to know, Marion went out to all 14 communities with camera in tow, notebook in tow, and we have stacks of paper. Photographs supporting the richness, the historical and cultural richness of the valley. So Marion, thank you for all your good work.
I would just say that just from the House of Representatives side, this now goes to the Natural Resources Committee. And one of the things, you hope that you are partnering with other parts of the country where these pieces come together and then we can move it. But we will be in touch about the kinds of advocacy that we need in order to push our colleagues on both sides of the aisle forward to advocate for this as well. And we will join with other parts of the country because we want to recognize as well these national heritage areas and highlight them so that we can do this together.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point because, you know, when somebody in Connecticut says, you know, I've got to make a stop in the valley, everybody knows what it is. If you're in Washington, D.C., there are a lot of valleys out there. And so what we need is for all of us to educate Washington as to how this valley is special. This heritage area is different in its history, its people, and its really unique beauty, which is why we need this national heritage area. It is about national, it's not just about what we want here in Connecticut, it's a national treasure. We need to educate people about why it's a national treasure and why it so perfectly fits the reasons why we have these national heritage areas, because they are, this is truly a national treasure, a value to the whole country.
Thank you, sir. Let me close by inviting you all back to the river this Saturday in commemoration and celebration of Ansonia's 125th anniversary. Is the first ever Naugatuck River Bash. It'll be held across the way here at the Ansonia.
On the other side of Division Street.
It starts at 11 and goes till 4. So please pick up a flyer before you leave. Once again, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
I have homework assignment.